horrible. Why did you do that? That's what. You are just worried about your neighbor's problem. He's having an affair, he's running away, etc. But it is just like putting someone's dirt and smelling it. You have enough problem within you, and now you have want to just smell their problem also a little bit. Just like a man who is having, he's standing up to his neck in filth, and he saw his neighbor, he's got little filth on his toe. Hey, look at that horrible, you have filth in your toe, but he's standing up to his neck. So satsang is to remind you, man, don't worry about others. Even if there's a World War III or the world is going to vaporize, you are immortal. There is no death or birth for you. Arise, awake. Uttishtata, jagrata, prapavaranya bodhata. Arise, awake. Stop not till you reach that immortal self which thou art. That immortal self has got no birth or death. It's only for the body. If you don't realize that self, then you'll be revolving. You enter into the astral world, you need help because you don't know where you are. What are the things I mentioned? Again, you are reborn again in another planet, another dimension, or in this very earth filled with radiations, and you can come mutations with the mutations, without head and hands and eyes, etc. I got even now pictures, hundreds and hundreds of pictures, children with their head in the stomach. And actually the face of a baby is like a frog. And there are people have toes like animals, hoof. And there are people with the horn in their hair growing. The whole group, horn is grown in their head. There are twins where the one twin's head is inside the stomach, only his leg is coming out and he has got other body. I can hundreds and thousands of these type of figures I can show you. And that is all because of mutations caused by radiations and thought. Thought is also radiation. So if there is a third world war, radiation level will increase. Even if you are reincarnated in this planet Earth, you won't have this type of beautiful face and only two hands. Hand will be growing from your head and legs will be coming from the tummy. All this can happen too. It's happening even now. So satsang is to remind you, do not just think of your little money, bank balance, etc. This lifespan is only for a very short time, 100 years. But what would happen after 100 years, even if there is no World War III? What would happen to you? Still you have to Dominican type of people. They said, how come you are here? We are the people to take these people away to the wrong the place where they are supposed to suffer. Who are? He said, we are actually Narayana. And so they said, you have no right over this man. Why not? Well, you don't know the truth. You can go and ask your Lord Yama. But he never been any time challenged by anybody. But who are you? And said, this man is not under your control. As he repeated the word Narayana come. Then, oh no, he was talking, his child was playing outside, Narayana come inside, Narayana come. And it's a matter of what. The moment he repeat that word, the last moment, his thought is on Narayana, but he cannot, under your influence, he can only go to the higher planes, higher dimensions, and he's under our control now. So this went on. And then Devamandudas was sent and Narayana to. So in this story, what he's talking about, this man, to repeat Narayana come here, he also could have called, my son come here. As the father is attached to the son more, so he won't come, Narayana, hey, my son, come inside. But he did not call my son, he said, Narayana come. Though he called the son's name, because earlier days he had the intense practice, he did pranayama, Sandhyavana, inhale, retain, exhale, inhale, retain, exhale. He concentrated, brought the chakras, etc. Then suddenly he fell from this path when he was in adult. But still the earliest time, that intense pranayama mantra he repeated, the mantra is still in his mind, the subconscious mind. That's why he called Narayana come here, otherwise he would have called my son come here. And that would have been completely different. So what I'm trying to convey is, according to yogic psychology, your last thought determines what your future thoughts are. So whatever the thoughts you are now creating through satsanga, you'll repeat Om Namo Narayana, Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Rama, etc. These thoughts will become very powerful and create new groove in your subconscious mind. And the last thought will be of that Narayana or Krishna or mantra you are repeating. That is why we call satsanga and ask you to repeat God's name. It's not to convert you into any ism, to make your thought very powerful, and otherwise your last thought will be money. Stock market investors, then you will be born as a teller, a bank teller, and you can count millions and millions of dollars born and living. But you don't have anything with you, you see? So if you are thinking of a woman at the last moment, oh my dear wife, I am going to leave you, honey, then you will be born as a woman with no money to go, nowhere to go. So whatever the position you are now, whatever the existence you are having now, is the thing you already determined in your past lives. And so you are born, which country you are going to be born, in Britain or England or Germany, how you are going to die, you are going to the concentration camp, or you are going to die in the battlefield, or suddenly your body is going to be blown up by the bombs. All this determined by your past karma and past experiences. And whatever you are doing now will create and determine your future life. Even if that bomb is going to fall down, if your mind is so strong, identified with the Atman, the self, the immortal self, then there is no fear, no death. Body will be pranali, but you are identified with the Atman, like Narayana, I am that I am. There is no birth or death. So that's called the purpose of satsang. Satsang needs to remind you, death is there, whether World War III or natural or some of you may not even reach your home tonight. As somebody was coming for a wedding ceremony, and the groom was late. That's why. Or there was a train accident, the road carpet or something like that, you know. He came for the wedding, but he had to go through an accident. So what guarantee is there we will reach our home safely? What guarantee is that we will be seen tomorrow morning? There is no guarantee for anything. But satsang says, yes, there is one guarantee. You always think of the immortal self which thou art. Meditate within. Bring that extrovert mind to introvert. Bring all the external senses, the generals, into the self. And identify I am Brahmasmi, or Om Namo Narayana, I am Narayana, I am Krishna, I am Rama. And make that thought powerful and stronger and stronger and stronger. Then, at the last moment, when the time comes for you, you inhale, exhale, and put the energy up. Otherwise, you will be just like a man with a plastic heart. He had a plastic, and he's in a very dangerous, 160 days or so. And he's in a very critical condition with a blood clot. But he brought from the hospital. As soon as he came out of the anesthesia, getting the new plastic card, he asked, "What do you want?" What did he say? He asked something. Anyone knows about? I want a glass of beer. That's the first thing he asked. That's called desire. See, first thought, beer. Because he's just having a plastic card, he's just recovering, you want to enjoy that beer. That's the old desire thought. And then now he came in the next hospital, they rented a beautiful apartment with a 24 hours attention to the nurses, etc. And he went for fishing. He has got himself, the heart is just dying, and he went fishing the heart. He doesn't understand that cooking that fish and giving pain, there's nothing harm for him. He's having himself hooked here, and he thinks he's going to hook another fish. It's just like I remember stories in our this thing. When you go through, where I was once, Kerala, there are lots of rice paddy fields, and there are rice fields full of water, and lots of frogs live, and also snakes, water snakes. They don't bite generally. Even if they bite, there's no poison. And there are lots of water snakes, and their main diet is frog. And suddenly the snake catches a frog, and the mouth is big, as small as the frog is bigger. So the front of the half the portion of the frog is still outside. There's no teeth, so it won't get injured. And the frog will go on crying, and it takes so long. Slowly, it will go on, sorrow little by this frog. As the frog is slowly going, it takes about half an hour, 45 minutes, because the whole frog will go, and still he's alive, and well, there's nothing is injury, no injury for that. And so the frog is slowly going, disappearing in the mouth, and then a fly passed by. He will take one little out and try to catch the fly and have one more last meal before going to the meal for us. We are just like that, Let us have a little more, one more catch my fish and enjoy the fish before my heart goes off. And the first man who got the horse heart, Bonnie Clark, I think, and everything is dead, but his heart was pumping. The first time in the history, the heart was pumping, the man is dead, the heart is pumping. So they switch it off, oh come on, stop, that is sufficient, the man is dead. You think that's our life is going to just running the heart few more minutes, few more lungs, etc. But how many hearts you get, how many kidneys you get, still you have to leave this planet Earth. Are you prepared for that? What are you thinking in the last moment? Your money, your heart, your liver, spleen, what are you thinking? That is the purpose of satsang. Satsang is to remind you, do not think all of these things. These are all just temporary, came to your karma, but you have to leave everything here. But the last thought determines, and at the time of an explosion, bomb explosion, etc., these people have never understood anything astral life. So what type of last thought they have? The painful experience, that mental disturbances, like mad person, and they arrive in the next plane. It's unbelievable. So in our Hindu system, we generally think, that's our theory, if you are born in your own home, not under the hospitals with the doctors, etc., looking, of course assisted by the neighbors, midwife, or neighbor woman, the midwife. And then our next prayer is die in our own bed, in our own home, looking by our own, surrounded by our own relatives. He is a good person. But if he just go and die in the hospital with intravenous injection, oxygen mask, and lying there like with the artificial heart, etc., that's the worst type of death you can ever think of. That's not. So in the best, you think if you keep a man for 10 more days alive, you think everything is, but the man's after, what condition is having, what type of mental condition is having, is he prepared? Many terminal persons with cancer, what he's doing, he doesn't know. So these are the things you must understand. So satsang is called thought, thinking the wise man. We also think while living how we have to live, and how we must link up our energy to higher levels, higher centers, and at the last moment when you die, we can also live and die with our own consciousness. We take the energy upward through consciously and bring up the higher center, and with that he releases from the physical body. We escape from the physical body in the higher dimensions. According to his evolution, you go to third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, or seventh dimension even, if it's very highly evolved. Otherwise, people with fear, with no idea, they only go to first and second heaven, and there they suffer terribly because they do not know how to use their thought. So in satsang, they are also teaching you how to use your thought from the very beginning. That's called go within. The purpose of silence for meditation is to bring your energy level within, not outward, extrovert to introvert. I'll tell you a couple of stories that extrovert and introvert mean. Extrovert means the senses going outward to central pastures, like the wild horse, and introvert is bringing that wild horses, the center, the soul, for meditation. The introvert meditation, by which you can bring the senses inward, will have happiness while living in this planet, and also happiness hereafter. The example is the man who is seated under a tree in a desert. And the tree gives shade for him and a little bit cool breeze. And all around, he's been surrounded by white sand. As the sun starts coming up in the horizon, rising up in the horizon, he slowly felt little thirst. And the sun is getting up and up in the horizon, and he's getting much more dehydrated and thirsty for water. Still he's seated under the shade. And suddenly, as his thirst increased, his desire for water became so important for his very existence. He saw in the white sandy area a beautiful shimmering lake. Waves, ripples. What is that? Mirage. If you haven't seen mirage, you know what it is. It's literally like a lake you will see. I've seen that. That white sand is no more white sand, it's lake, full of water and waves. Now he had a tug of war. He sees with his perception there is water, but by intellectual analysis, he knows there can't be any water, there was only sand. But his perception, his eyes, he sees this beautiful shimmering lake. So there was, shall I go or shall I not go? Intellect says, don't go. You are sitting under the shade. When you go there, you get dehydrated and die in the desert. But the perception says there is water. Now, which one you are going to take it? You are going to believe your perception or your reasoning? You get up and go for water, or you sit? Generally, your perception is more powerful than your reasoning. You know this world is nothing but full of sorrow because we are accustomed to living by sight, smell, taste, all the five senses. You believe all the time. Your living senses are real. So until you keep quiet, let me go. It's only 15 minutes there. If I walk 15 minutes, I can find the water. There's no water, I always can come back. Only 15 minutes. So you got up, tied your hair with a cloth, and slowly walked 15 minutes. And with the 15 minutes, where's the water? Still 15 minutes away. And you turn back the shade. Shade is 15 minutes this way. Now which way you go? That way or this way? He said, okay. let me try once more. So he starts running now, faster. And after 15 minutes, how far still the water is? 15 minutes away. Now shade is 30 minutes away. Now he starts running towards the water, thinking. And the shade is getting further and further away until you dehydrate and die. This example is literally an example what we are giving now. In the West, you thought all happiness is somewhere outside. If you have a good house, good palaces, good air conditioning, good car, and you are going to be happy. You created everything. The more you create, more you thought, more you want. And you are moving away from the self, Atman. You never thought that happiness is within you. It's all you think, it's outside. So you ran away, thinking everything is outside. And now we are going to, like a man who is going to die in the desert, we are going to destroy the whole world, thinking that we can save the world. It's called the situation of our life. So there are two things, perception and intellect. Satsang will make you think there is no happiness outside. If there is a happiness, it's just like coming from within. That dog who is chewing a dry bone, and in fact he is having beautiful juicy blood coming out of it. He's chewing more he chews, oh, he gets more blood is coming. Where comes from that blood? From this one. That is one of sprinter went and broke everything, and the parrot coming in the blood. Now he thinks, oh, he's coming from the dry bone. Same thing. We think the happiness is outside, but everything is from within. So man, satsang says, don't go outside. Don't accept this perception. Use your intellect, reasoning, and analyze it. And that's why satsang is doing. Satsang is trying to remind you again and again, go with it, and make your mind one point and strong. The other story is, last one, is about a hunter went for hunting. And after hunting, chasing animals, was tired and was sitting under the shade of a tree and for his lunch. So he was about to open his lunch and enjoy his lunch. And suddenly nearby bush, there was a hungry lion. He's also hungry. And he saw this hunter seated comfortably. So he said, there's my lunch. So he's about to jump over the hunter. Hunter saw this lion, my God, I must escape, but there's no time to run anywhere. But luckily he was sitting near a big well. He tried just about to jump inside the well to save from the lion's mouth. But when he looked, at the bottom was dry, there's no water, but there's also a big python is lying, he's also hungry. Now he has got a choice. He can be lunch for the lion or lunch for the python. Which one you prefer? And the choice is not so good. But luckily, on the walls of the well, there was a creeper, a vine. So he caught on the creeper and was hanging in between. So the lion won't reach him and the python won't catch him. Yes. Temporarily, he is just happy. As he was hanging, two rats came from the hole. They saw the vine is moving. And the one was black rat and white rat. They started cutting this vine in all their family. But he also saw suddenly nearby, within his reach, there's a beautiful beehive full of honey. And of course, lots of bees too. Now he's thinking now, he's not till he's hungry, there's lots of bee honey here. Why can't I enjoy this honey? So he went and pulled the honey. And naturally, bees are not going to give him a happy honey lunch. So they start singing all over his body, thousands of them. And the rats are cutting, and the lion is on the top, and the spider is between the bottom, and he's enjoying the honey. Well, he must be a very horrible, stupid hunter, is it not? This story illustrates all of us. We are like the hunter, and the lion represents what? Lion represents old age. Old age is chasing constantly. Look at the gray hair. I came in 57 in America. I have one gray hair because all the gray hair. Old age is chasing constantly, pushing. And the python represents death. It chases to the mouth of the and the wine in which you are hanging. Wine represents the creeper you are hanging represents your lifespan of 100 years. And the black rat and white rat represents black rat represents the night, white represents the day. And the day has been chewed off from your lifespan. Today is 7th, is not? It is. 8th May is chewed off. Now, night rat to start chewing already. You are not aware of it. Even in this time, when I was talking, it is few more new hairs. Is it happening? Or stop. No more gray hairs. This all in. My nose is changing. Have you seen? I have more wrinkles, more fat. So this body is changing little by little. That's called old age. You are not aware of it. And in 20 years from now, when I come to 21st century to celebrate, I'll be sitting like that. Yeah, now we are going to talk about short child. But you think it's only for Swami Vishnu? You've forgotten this happening to you also. The very moment it happens to you, the old age is chasing every moment. And then, that honeybee and the honey. Honey is the sensual pleasures, little bit you can get it. But when you try to have the sensual pleasures, they don't want you to enjoy it. Just go into the bar to have that beer, you have to pay taxes. And then you just have a big house, you have to pay bigger tax, and more rooms, more bedrooms and bathrooms, more cleaning. So you are being bombarded. The taxes, insurance, this man, that man, terrorism, and so on, constantly being bombarded by thousands of bees are stinging, politicians and so forth. And the honey is a little bit of that pleasures you want to enjoy. Caviar, a little bit vodka, and eventually the black rat, white rat cut and you go to the bottom and you die. This is what happens. Our life is constantly moving. So man, Satsang needs to remind you, don't run. You will never reach anywhere. Stay wherever you are. Go within, get your strength from within. Not from the bank balance, money, wife, children, home, family, beauty, strength, power. Everything will collapse, everything is moving away from you. But still you think that it's going to come to you. Nothing. So Onassis, the big Onassis, he used to put a scotch tape to keep his eyelids open. He has got a disease. He can't keep his eyelids open, though he's a millionaire. So he had to put every morning he had to put a scotch tape to keep his eyelids open. So money cannot bring you health, strength, power. Not anything. Everything moves away. Satsang needs to remind you. This time, every day, spend some time in meditation, as well as your inner development. That's meant who you are, what you are. And attend satsang to remind you that death is waiting. Otherwise, you will forget this. Just like Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, they're fighting constantly with advertisements. Coca is the real thing. We said thousands of years ago, no, Atman itself is real thing. No, they said, no, Coke is real thing. Now they make a real thing. They want to invest, and change the formula. And Pepsi says, no, it's inner generation, 3 generations. But if they don't put advertisements, what would happen? The sales will go down. Though everyone knows Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, but if they don't advertise anymore, same thing, if you don't come at satsang and remind you again and again, the subconscious mind will be overflowed with the weeds, like in a garden, and your last thought will be only weeds. And so come to satsang whenever there's opportunity, move with the people, rise, sing God's name, repeat God's name, and move on, and bring your mind from extrovert to introvert through meditation. For that, you need also other things to bring the mind inward, like asana, pranayama, 8 steps doing the Raja, Yamaniyam, asana, pranayama, samadhi. People try to reach the only samadhi, meditation. It's just like going into the last steps, climbing the staircase. But from the first, you want to reach the top without going the next step once. And that will fall down. So you do not think that meditation will come easily because you close your eyes or you go to a guru and guru has got a specific kind of formula that by hitting you, your kundalini will awaken and go to higher level. It is your effort. And each life, look at that small picture on the wall. There are six chakras and seventh one in the top. Each life you go on increasing your level of consciousness, depending which chakra you are able to awaken. And according to chakra, you'll be born in the next plane. If you die by awakening third chakra, then you will go to third plane. Fourth chakra, fourth plane, fifth. So each of the planes corresponding to chakra in the physical body. Many people only they know how to use their first and second chakra, sensual and sexual organs. They only go to first and second planes. And that is different from yogis. Yogis want to go to higher planes, so satsang will increase. And this awareness of the higher dimensions and higher planes and higher chakras, and we can be a God-realized soul or self-realized soul in this very life, as time is fleeting. God bless you all for the chance. Now we'll spend a few minutes to bring our consciousness to higher level. Look at again the picture, just an idea that first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, we are going to bring the consciousness to this chakra, Ajna, the highest center. Put the right out, take 5 deep breaths, please, everybody. Deeper and deeper into that silence, like diving deeper in the bottom of the ocean. And as you dive deeper and deeper, awareness of time stops, awareness of space stops, and only the awareness of peace, silence increases. Only peace and silence now. You can't even hear your own breathing. You don't even feel that you are breathing now. Now dive deep and live for just for a few more minutes into that silence. Those departed souls of all human beings came from the human race. The German, Italian, French, and American, British, French makes no difference. They're all human brothers of this planet Earth. They're all our sisters and brothers. So we don't think they are. Let us spend just for 5 minutes repeating Om Namo Narayanaya to bring peace to these departed souls today. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. peaceful thoughts to all the departed souls who are still lying in a very disturbed state. At the center of peaceful prayer and loving thoughts to all souls, doesn't matter who they are, let them have more peace, let them rest in peace, rest in peace and joy and happiness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace. Okay, we do now R&D to remove the darkness from this world by lighting the light and offering before the Lord.
तमेव भान्दमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति ॐ गङ्गे जमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिन्धु कावेरी नमस्तुभ्यं नमो नमः त्वमेव माता जगन्नाथ त्वमेव Sakala Namah Shivaya. Prasadam is a very magnetized energy from the Lord.
There's going to be some tea downstairs for everybody to have in a few moments.
Oh, I got about 15 minutes of slides, very beautiful slides of Agastya Buddha, where said Agastya is still meditating. He has all the commentary and very beautiful. Please wait, where is the thing? Where it is going to be?
Which one do you want to go off?
Why? I'm going to keep ready. Okay, then get ready. Ready means what? Okay, from here. Very beautiful is about our ashram in Nayanda and Siddhantram. Opposite there is a beautiful rainforest, we have wild elephants, etc. Those who are in a hurry can go, those who are not in a hurry can stay. It's only 10 minutes show. It's only 10 minutes. Okay, sit down, please. Come on, son. Finish.
Yes, ma'am. It's coming in.
Slow, yeah.
Are you still filming?
Just sit down for 10 minutes.
The sound, it wasn't as bad in the desert.
Called and installed on the summit in January of 1985. Then, at the completion of the teacher's course, he would lead a group of pilgrims for darshan of Agastya. A happy group spent 5 days in the forest installing the beautiful granite murti of Agastya on the highest point of the mountain. A pilgrimage was arranged for early February, and a large group was sent to go. Coolies and cooks went ahead to establish a base camp and prepare food. Early in the morning, we gathered to await the boats. Problems began immediately. The boats were late, and then only one turned up. There was much scolding in many languages, but then the second boat came into view. We crammed aboard the leaky boats with some trepidation, but the tribal rowers were undaunted and pushed ahead steadily. The ride was uneventful, save for some sightings of scurrying monkeys, some beautiful birds, and buffalo bathing. And we arrived at the drop-off point, deep in the forest, in good time. There we rested briefly, and then set off. Right from the start it was apparent that Swami would have difficulty walking. But his energy was so focused, his spirit so high, that he thought nothing of it. Now we were in the forest proper, surrounded by huge trees, vines, tall grass, and hearing many varied bird calls. Behind this serene sense of delight was an awesome quiet. Swami suddenly announced with great joy that he had decided to stay in the forest in seclusion. From this moment we watched him surrendering to Agastya and saw how this humility eventually took him to the summit against all our expectations. Our party reached the first meeting point where the cooks had prepared our first meal in the forest. This was at a beautiful pool and we ate and rested. How happy we were in this delightful place. Swami was already looking for a pleasant spot for his seclusion. But little did we know then that Agastya would take him all the way to the top before a place was chosen. Then it began to rain, and it seemed that we should move closer to the mountain to find a sheltered place to spend the night. At meditation that evening, Swami told us that difficulties come as tests to see if we have the strength to carry on. Early the next day we set off, and now the steep uphill climbing began. The track led through forests, across stretches of open grassland, traversing streams, and winding through areas of dense growth almost like rainforest. It was raining steadily and began to get increasingly colder and windy. Far from civilization, stripped of our dignity, tired and dirty, and using forest articles for shelter, we began to feel like Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Hanuman, and we recalled stories of sages living in the forest. Swami constantly chanted, Om Namo Narayanaya, telling us that it gave him the strength and determination to carry on. He was still looking for a secluded place, but every likely spot seemed to have some drawback. Agastya was pushing him on. We reached the bishop's estate, a small plateau at a high elevation where there was a stone hut with a thatched roof, the only real shelter. It was crowded with groups of pilgrims, thwarted in their attempts to reach the top of Agastya. The weather was grim, and higher up it looked worse. Every now and then, a cold squall of windswept rain would rush down to the mountain, and the grey clouds came lower and lower towards us. The local pilgrims all advised us against any attempts to go up, and one by one they turned back. Eventually, 20 of our own group decided to return, took Swamiji's permission, and departed, a little defeated by the difficulties. As the local yatris had departed, there was a little space in the cottage, and we waited there the rest of the day and night. We could not imagine how we would fit in a tiny space, but at least it was warm and dry. Some sat up the whole night. By morning, the sun was trying to break through, and it was still damp and grey, and all were sullen, except Swamiji. He would have nothing of doubt at all, and shone with one-pointedness, determination, cheerfulness, and courage. Today we would reach the top, come what may. The ancient legend of Agastya has it that he will not allow you to see him very easily. One must be pure in body and mind to have his darshan. Now we enter the region of Agastya's domain, and we should keep quiet. The climb was up and up without a break. The vegetation changed. Small elephants even climbed this high to find young bamboo shoots. Agastya Kutam presents a sheer rock wall on the western face, and so the narrow path winds around to the north, and then to the eastern side, from where an ascent can be more easily made. Swamiji's exhilaration seemed to increase the higher we went. Even though he had to climb with the help of 2 people, relying almost completely on the strength of his arms to carry him, his legs being quite tired, and still the difficult part lay ahead. Yet he was constantly bubbling. Spotting a rock, he joked that he wished to sit there and enjoy the view. Then he would turn aside and laugh that he really just wanted to rest. He would tell a story from his past, and we would get a refreshing bath of energy from his sparkling eyes and be ready to start again. As we climbed higher and higher, the weather seemed to clear, and we didn't mind the leeches that were sucking blood from our legs if we weren't careful. Then the sun came out, and looked at our spirits soared in this mysterious realm of Agastya. Our guides were these tribals who live in the forest and know the tracks and what berries and trees can be eaten. Their history is in song and verse and takes a week to relate. And they were instructing their youngsters during this pilgrimage. Eventually, we reached a high rock plateau from where the final climb is usually made. Here we stopped. Swami decided to halt there to rest his legs. He would rest another day before climbing to the top, as he was by now thoroughly exhausted. The main party took their meal, as they would be climbing to the top and returning to the base that day, and they would need the energy. Swami gave instructions to the staff members, while the yatris prepared to climb to the top. A tent was pitched where Swami could spend the night, helped by a small group who would remain to serve him. They built a fire and prepared the evening meal. Meanwhile, the main party of pilgrims reached the summit and worshipped Agastya. In spite of all difficulties encountered on the way, they had been able to reach the very top. Here they were rewarded with a spectacular view of the forest through which they had journeyed, and far in the distance there down was our ashram situated on the furthest stretch of water to the right, where a white speck can be seen. Tired but happy, they safely made their way down to the bishop's estate, where they spent that night, said their farewells to Agastya, and returned to the ashram the following day. Swamiji was now alone, with only 3 people to serve him, and he sat in silence at the foot of Agastya Uttam, which presents itself as a huge Shivalingam. The sky had cleared now, and it was full moon. Unfortunately, due to the full moon, many pilgrims came to the mountain, and sensing Swami's presence, they soon discovered him and began bothering him for darshan. We moved Swami to a hidden plateau surrounded by forest with a small stream to the side. Swami spent the day and most of the night in meditation, and his face was soon glowing in an ecstatic and serene state. Agastya had brought him here to this secluded place. How powerful the presence was. Meditation was spontaneous. Early the following morning, Swami decided that he would climb to the top. A party of 7 set off, the extra people having arrived during the night with fresh supplies from the ashram. Swamiji was in a great mood that day, chanting Lord Narayana's mantra and struggling on against all our expectations, as the climb was difficult even for us. Remarking with laughter at how his body now felt like an empty shell, and he was thinking about its disposal already, Swamiji told us about how as a youngster in Rishikesh ashram, he would bound up and down the stairs many times a day in the master's service. On the way up, Swamiji would stop and admire the beautiful flowers while he took his rest, asking us to pick some here and there with which to worship Agastya once we reached the top. The air was fresh and still, and in the clear morning light, the view across Tamil Nadu to Pattanadai, the birthplace of Swami Shivananda, was spectacular. Swamiji often mentioned the mysterious arrangement of Pattanadai and the Nayadam ashram in a direct line with Agastya Kuttam in the dead center. The final ascent must be made barefoot, the top of the mountain being the sanctum. It is bare rock and a steep climb with an anchored cable to help the yatris. We took a last rest and then climbed to the top. Here was installed the virtue of Agastya Muni. we fell at his feet and then worshipped him in silence. Swami instructed us to clean up the area and then told us that he had decided to stay right on the top until Shivaratri. We were a little taken. The days were unbearably hot, and at night a cold wind blew ceaselessly. But Swami was determined to remain with the mystical clouds and meditate there in seclusion. Agastya had brought him there. He could never climb back down and up again in this body, and he would stay no matter what. We pitched Swami's tent, lit a fire, and prepared for a cold night on top of the mountain. Swami remained in his tent all night. Early in the morning we arose and huddled around the fire for warmth. Then we began preparations for the morning puja. Swami came out from his tent in a joking mood and remarked how people from such diverse lands must come to this mountain and prepare this puja. Previous births must have been spent in this forest with him, and then some subtle desires led us astray. Now we were back again. Swamiji was so happy, unshaven, without water for a bath, missing his front teeth, clothes rumpled, and hair tousled. In preparation for the puja, Swamiji showed us how he could take a bath merely by sprinkling some water and repeating the names of the holy rivers of India. We were ready for the worship and were even able to offer cooked sweet rice, as some of our party had gone down the previous evening and had now returned with prasad, water, and food for us. All we were missing was some rose water and sandalwood paste. And strangely enough, just as we were beginning the puja, a party of pilgrims arrived, and they had these articles with them. All were offering flowers and leaves and helping to shield the light from the wind. And we were brought together in a spirit of oneness and love. Swami said that his happiness depends upon our happiness. He did not come to this plane as an individual, but that we were all extensions of himself, and that his freedom also depended upon us doing our work selflessly. He said that if we just did the Master's work and carried on his mission, then everything would be prepared for us, even our own samadhi. From his solitude on Agastya could come, he would send his energy and strength to us. His work should be carried on, expanded by scientific means, but made simple and clear and purified by constant practice. Surrendering to the will of Agastya Muni, he thanked us all from the depths of his heart for this chance to remain in seclusion and solitude.
That is the top where we made a temple, and again the negative elements came and destroyed. We are now rebuilding it now. Next.
The following songs are sung by Surendra.
Okay, next.
A young teacher training student who took the teacher training course at Nirvan in January.
This is our camp, our master's yoga camp, Government headquarters, our platform and ashram, master's temple. Okay, go ahead, next one. That is the same class is going on at the camp. That is the opening day of the master's temple, that's it. The Gurudev's temple at the camp. Next. The worship of the Gurudev. Next. That's the children's camp starting. Next. The teachers training course. All the teachers training course. Next. class is going on, teachers training course. Next. Class is again teacher training course, asana class, and master's temple. Next. Again, teacher training course, various views. Next. Next. That's the graduation of the yoga teacher training course. When the graduation, everyone had to stand on the head. And we should a diploma by standing on the head. Next. There was solitude as teachers, trainees, in meditating and meditating or reading. Next. Ringing the bell for the class. Morning. Next. This is our same Samadhi estate where my stay. There's also there's a small temple, Ganesh, and there's opening one of the festivals there. Where we know what he's doing, thinking of pizza ice cream. Next. There's our beautiful gardens and flowers. Next. And that is the plane which I went for peace mission. So from Tel Aviv to Cairo, also from Dublin to Belfast with Crystal Settlers. It is a museum piece created by the Crystal Mass. And there is a twin engine flew across the Atlantic Ocean and all the peace missions. Next. This is the fall season, how the whole forest looked like. Beautiful, unbelievably beautiful, like the colors. Next. So the winter came, and now we have snow everywhere. Mahadev is starting to ski. Next. Here's the sea, the trees look like winter, like glasses. All glassy. Next. So winter scenes of the camp. Next. There was skiing down. Next. That's sleigh ride in an old, whatever sleigh, like horses. Next. That's our ranch, New York ashram. New York ashram. Next. We saw that we have the same New York ashram. The Catskill Mountains, the others in Washington is the Catskills. Next. The winter we go there. Ashram in New York. Next. This is Fall, California. That is Grass Valley, Yoga Farm near Sacramento. It's a beautiful, lots of wild views. It's another beautiful spot. Next. This is again the farm view of California. Next. It's another view of the farm with the borders of grasses. Next. This is a yoga retreat paradise at the Nassau, Bahamas. So we came to south. Beautiful island, coconut palm trees and so forth. Next. And this is the other alternate aircraft I was trying, and the point of first time I tried to get off, but it went off, but it would not get in a straight line. I didn't know this was in Germany as an additional thing in case if one is we bought from BBC so is taken, then I had this one, so we had two. This one of the ones that brought me to Germany. Because I'm first time training how to use the float. Next. This is the Nassau beach, the beach platform in the beach. Next. It's some other cottages inside the Nassau, Bahamas. Next. Well, if you don't have a place to stand on the head in the water, at least you can stand on the boat. Next. Another view through the coconut palm trees. Next is the view of the Nassau beach and the platform. Next. Well, that you can see meditation on the beach very easily comes naturally. Next. This is again yoga retreat platform and meditation hall, meditation area. Next. Well, one of the exercises show how to lift their legs. Very difficult, very difficult exercise. Okay, next. Here Swami in the Himalayas in his cave. The pythons behind and Durga is coming closer to him and Shiva and next. This is actually NASA painting. Now our Trivandrum ashram, where we saw all those beautiful things. This is the ashram, Trivandrum ashram, Kerala. Next. This is the entrance to the ashram. Next. This is the front view again, entrance. The typical Kerala construction in South Indian construction. Next. Again, teachers training course in Trivandrum. There are lots of coconut trees and palm trees plenty. Next. There's a graduation of the Trivandrum. The photographer is being photographed. Next. That's a beautiful, that's a mountain. The left side is the peak we fulfilled the pilgrimage. So this is the view also from the ashram, how the view looks like. Next. So that's the peak we went to, the climb, the very top. And now, in that area where you can see the fence, they are bringing lions. There's lots of wild elephants all around, but now they're bringing lions there, and there'll be an open zoo for the lions too. This is, my cottage is this side, and the other side is the lion and the elephants. Next. These are nursery school children, 4 children. They got free food, etc., from the charitable organizations, and we teach them. We've got about 4 children from the village. Next. It's one of the painting of the ashram inside Lord Narayana, Vishnu, and Narada, and Brahma. Next. Dr. Jyoti from Germany, she is also a teacher. Now she's a medical doctor. She joined as a staff and helping simple medicines for clinics for our 4 people there. And there's inauguration in a thatched cottage, and there's a little bit of small almirah and then some few medicines and a table. That's all the clinic. Okay. Next. And that is the outside the clinic, how the thatched roof looks like, and the inauguration day. If you ever go to India, please take some medicines and clothes for the 4 children. And the medicines you can send it or take it with you. Next. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyade Om Shanti 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 Om Peace. Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj ki jai. So if you come to summer camp, we can come for our yoga teacher training course at the camp, or for yoga vacation. Okay, welcome all of you. You can get all the information from me. Okay, that's first we don't all have something to eat or drink. There's something there. Okay, there's also teachers training course 2 places. Summer in the Walmaran and the September in Vigo in Spain. Okay, just find out the tree for them, show them where the tree and so forth. So put the lights on. Okay, tree should. Now there's a tea available, and you come tomorrow if you want to come for morning meditation. I will be here, then I'll take off to Paris. So morning, if you come for meditation, 6 o'clock if you like. All the centers are beautiful. Come and visit us this summer. Now, so I told you we got free vacation.
You don't remember. 1960, you came to your classes.
What's your name?
Jack Karen.
Well,
a long time ago.
In Montreal, 24 years ago.
Oh my God, that is almost
A long time ago.
three decades ago.
Yes, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Come back again then. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Take it, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Babu, okay, introduce all the people.
We are coming to your place,
Okay.
Canada.
Canada, okay, take it.
So we are going to visit you myself.
Babu.
Thank you very much.
So they're coming to Canada? What's your name?
Kishore.
Okay, what do you do? Businessman?
He was here in business, but now he is migrated.
Canada?
Yeah.
Which part? Montreal?
Toronto.
Toronto. Not far away from us. Okay. Okay, we'll see you there. Get all the literature then, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Come again. Okay, what? Madaji Prasad. Idea.
Dinesh, right?
For cooking. One Prasad for you. Take it. Pura लीजिए, okay? और आपका
Dinesh, right?
अच्छा माता जी का नाम पार्वती One Namah Shivaya. First time coming here? No,
we met when you were on your way to the Peace Mission in that house.
Okay. One Namah Shivaya.
My daughters.
Oh, my daughters, huh? They're going to be doctors, engineers, philosophers, yogis.
That's Trina.
She's going to be nursery nurse, good. And you nurse, think that you are nursing God, okay? Thank you. One Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, look at that. I was expecting you for the street training course, and you said you went and working with the post office, huh? Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. So come this summer at least. You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get the leave.
Just at least 4 weeks leave. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Or Gujarat? Gujarat? Some?
Yeah.
કેમ છે સારું છે ઠીક છે મજા માં છે from which part? Gujarat, Rajkot? Baroda?
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Gujarat, કેમ છે